A few years ago, on a Question Time debate, Peter Hitchens said that he believed that young people should look for somewhere else to live, and if he was young, he would certainly do that. And he did remark at the time that he was too old to move on, and, his die was cast. He was already on the verge of being an old man, and he is indeed an old man now. You could say at 74, not quite, in the sunset, but certainly, approaching the hills on that. And Mr. Hitchens has been a fixture in British politics for a number of decades. An intelligent man, an author, he's wrote a lot of books, and of course he had a conversion from Trotskyite to Tory, which is quite a conversion. But of course he had the luxury, if you can call it a luxury, of being in Russia and watching the decline of Russian society. And that, of course, disabused him of any silly notions he had in his head that anything like communism would be good for any society in the modern world. And he came back to reality. So it goes to show the measure of the man who can change his mind. And this is what he said, what he's been saying for quite some time.
Yes, I do tell people to leave the country if they can, but that's an important detail. The if they can bit, it's getting harder and harder to get out of here, not least because people in foreign countries have begun to realise what modern Britain is like. They've begun to spot what most of us already know, that nothing works. Our schools are useless, our universities are even worse, that we're not training people to be any use at doing anything, that we're very badly governed, that we don't know how to run anything. Why should they have us? If you want to get out, by all means try, but don't ask me where you should go. Don't assume before you try going that everybody will want you. Get some qualifications, learn to speak a language. But the real problem is this. I'm not telling people to get out so that they can have nicer, better, comfier, more prosperous lives. I'm saying get out while you can, before this country becomes impossible to live in and impossible to escape from. The way in which our politicians behave, their incompetence, their inability to understand what's going on, their incredible willingness to spend money we haven't got, their refusal to face any of our major problems, are leading to the decay of what was once a major civilization. You think it'll just carry on being an inhabitable place forever? You'll be surprised. And people also say to me, well, why don't you go? I don't go because I'm 74. It's too late for me. I can't go somewhere else and make a living there. And I don't believe you should go to somebody else's country without being able to support yourself. That may not be the case with you. That's all I'm saying. Get out while you can.
Is Peter Hitchens wrong to say the things that he's just said there? Well, I don't think he is. I think it's pretty easy to see and pretty easy to feel modern Britain. You feel it too, I feel it, and you reach down into your heart and you tell me the truth, and you tell me that you feel like this country's getting better and we've got something to look forward to, because I don't feel that, and I don't know anybody else that feels that either. And it's not just, the politicians ruining the economy. I mean, earlier this week we watched Rachel Reeves and the Labour Party take a sledgehammer to our economy. It's being quietly done, but, the end of the day, doesn't matter how many trumpets or fanfares or, pats on the back or whatever else is going on the day, this country is borrowing the thick end of 10 to 20 billion pounds a month just to keep going. That's £250 billion a year. That's what we're borrowing just to keep the debt under control. And just to keep the public services rolling and paying the pensions. That's the situation that we're in. And, addressing that with a ridiculous budget of, tax and spend, it's not going to fix the problem. At some point it's going to break, but Rachel Reeves doesn't care about that. She only cares about today. And I think within that, you see one of the reasons why this country is suffering. We don't have politicians with any gravitas, who have fundamental belief systems. We have people who are university-educated graduates who move in to politics who've never had a proper job in their life, and that's the front bench of the Labour Party. And, they don't seem to want to make any tough choices in terms of the longevity of the economy. They just wanted to get through the budget day. And that's the selfishness of the current crop of politicians and the type of politicians that we've had for a long time. And so when you have a group of people who aren't focused on the long-term health of something and are just looking at what's happening today, then you start to get some of the reasons into why this country's in the steep level of decline that it is. But decline it is. And moving from the economy into our culture, look at the demographic change. You yourself walk around supermarkets and walk around town centres, you must feel that there's a different kind of feeling coming from people, emanating from people. It's a feeling of anger that I get. It's palpable. People are not the same. It's a low trust society that we now live in. Crime is rampant in a lot of places. Jobs are becoming more difficult to come by. And in general, this is not the same country that we had in the 1980s and 1990s, not by a long chalk. This is a different place that we are living in. And, that and a number of other reasons which I could go into make the statements from Peter Hitchens perfectly normal. Why would a young person want to waste their whole life on this country who obviously doesn't care about them? Obviously, as adults, we're quite happy to stick that debt burden onto our young, because that's what Rachel Reeves done earlier this week. She just kicked that can down the road for our teenagers and our younger children to deal with in 20 years' time. Is it any wonder? Look at the kids now. What have they got? Super high house prices, a blundering job market, financial incompetence, massive taxes, and you expect young people just to sit around and just give over their whole life to this British state who doesn't care about anybody but itself? No. If I was young and I had the means to go, and I was at that time in my life where I didn't really own a lot of money, and you're just starting out, then why wouldn't those people move abroad? And it was for my money, a good call by Mr. Hitchens there. Thanks very much for your time.